It's a PDF version. So it's a PDF version, and what we have is a daily activity outline. So on page 7. And pretty much what it has here is what I was talking about. This is typically meant to be a week-long activity, but for us, I believe we're gonna pick and choose different types of days to use from Friday till Tuesday, so Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. So I would recommend, just from my quick glance of the manual, we would follow along. For the case of the law school, for high school students, we'd be doing day 1, which is analyzing the crime scene and collecting evidence, but then also mixing in potentially some of day 2, which would be the blood type lab. So that's where, once we pass out these kits, the kits will be a bucket that will come to each site, and will also provide some of the worksheets that come along with this crime scene kit. But pretty much in these kits, for example, with the law skull one, we are provided with obviously the skull that will be used and placed as evidence. And then we're also given other things to conduct the lab. So for example, we have different types of blood samples to use for the blood type lab, and then other hair samples that we can use to do hair analysis and other things like that. So what I wanted to emphasize today was pretty much trying to show everyone that when reading these manuals, we want to focus on all the analysis type of stuff. So on Friday, what I would recommend is, instructors, please get to your sites maybe up to an hour or even 30 minutes earlier to the sites to set up the crime scene. So we can take a look at that after, but pretty much what you'll do is place the object that should be the main piece of evidence, and then all the kits, I believe, okay, so this one doesn't, but you'll pretty much single off the crime scene. So let's say, for example, I'm at Evanston Academy. I can place my evidence or crime scene in like the cafeteria, so not necessarily in the room that the students typically meet. For other schools, maybe, for example, I've been to Walnut now. Walnut can leave the evidence in the hallway and just clean it up after. So the first day, Friday, would be setting up your crime scene, and then having students come in small groups to come and analyze the crime scene and collect evidence. I recommend, once again, that the instructors probably be the one collecting evidence and having the students observe and write down their analysis of the evidence, and then organizing the evidence. So then for day 2, this is something we can probably mix in with day 1, which would be Friday once again. But I only recommend doing the blood type lab just because we technically already do fingerprint dusting, and this manual tries to give a whole background and more information on fingerprint data. And I don't think we need to go over that again. Unless you feel it's necessary, then sure, you can go through it again with this manual instead. So yeah, day 1, which for us would be a Friday, will be a mixture of day 1 and day 2 of this manual. So I kind of will leave it up to the instructors to really understand what they think they can accomplish within the allotted time they have for the session with the students. So right now I'm trying to build up a doc that I will use to kind of give people a background on what they can try to do. But like I said, I'm still trying to really read and digest everything in this, but we wanted to meet today to give everyone a clear outline of how they should go about this. So I recommend Friday be day 1 and day 2 of the manual. And then on Monday, we would, so for the law school, probably skip this. And then, so Monday would be chromatography, and we can talk about that once we get further down into the manual. And day 5 would kind of be like analysis and trying to guess who actually committed the crime. So let's go ahead and move on to the setting up the scene. So as you can see here, the manual is very detailed. It'll show you what you can do to actually set up these scenes. And that's why we wanted to meet so early, so that we can give everyone a heads up to actually do this and complete this, because it'll tell you things such as taking things from the kit and then placing them in certain areas or on the other evidence in the kit, and should be pretty straightforward. So hopefully this makes sense. But of course, if there are any questions, please reach out to myself and we can walk through it. So like I said, setting up the evidence should be a priority on Friday. Then moving into day one, this is where we start some of the analyses and analyzing our crime scene. So once again, the manual is very detailed. It will walk you through some of the things you can do and literally some questions you can ask some of the students. So I really recommend just skimming through this manual. And even if you feel more comfortable just printing out some of the pages to use, that may work too. So once again, this is collection of evidence on day one, but let's go to day two. Day two, like I said, tries to give more background data on fingerprints and what they are. We don't have to go into too much detail on that. So I just recommend for day two of the manual, going to the blood lecture or just blood type testing. So with this kit, as I showed earlier, it contains some example blood samples that the students can use to try and test. And so the manual contains some of these examples and charts to help describe and help students see what it should look like, or give the instructors an answer key to what they should be looking for when the students are doing the actual blood type lab. So as you can see here are the instructions once again. So we'll provide some of these worksheets and things, but they also can be found at the end of this document in case you were wondering. So we'll print out a few of them, but if there's one that you may need or you think you may need some more of, you can always find them at the end of this manual. So once again, very detailed explanations telling you what should be dropped. So for example, I'm just looking at like example or number 3 and then 4. So give a blood type tray, and then another sample, explain to students the blood from the skull is this, and then using the trays that will be provided in the kits, which are right here, they could pretty much analyze their blood sample. So everything should be in the kits that's mentioned in the manuals, but like I said, we're just trying to run through what each day will look like. So I'll repeat it again. Day one, being Friday for us, will be a mixture of crime scene evidence and just analyzing the crime scene, collecting evidence, and then possibly doing a blood type lab. And that's where we'll use the blood samples provided in the kits and just analyze and look at what they look like. And I hypothesize and do other things like that. Then moving on to day 3 of the manual, which would turn into day 2 for us, which would be Monday. The manual wants the students to look at a sharp dichotomous key. I believe they're trying to use this to help students figure out how to actually determine what animal the skull provided in the kit, what animal that skull is for. So this is something you can have the students do as maybe like an icebreaker activity or just a fun activity to try and figure out, but it's meant to be used to determine what the skull actually is. So once again, just following the day 3 schedule and other things left in the manual, that should be a good activity to have the students do. Then for day 4 in the manual, which could possibly still be day 2 or Monday for us, we would have the comparative lab, which is just hair types and fibers. So within the kits, like I said, it contains everything. So for example, it has some of the hair fiber samples that we can use to compare and test with the students. And this will be another emphasis on having them hypothesize and think, okay, what type of hair could actually match up to this skull? And so you can find all the other instructions on how to actually test them. And that could be another example activity. So I'm going to stop for a second and just see if there are any questions so far about these manuals and whether there are any confusion about it. Hopefully I'm not going too fast. Okay, no problem. And once again, I'm going to try and run through these and then throw them into a Google Doc just to give everyone like a smooth breakdown of what they can do and what they can reference to. So I'll try and get that done today. or hopefully even early tomorrow, but we should have those before Friday. So once again, I just recommend running through these. So back to what I was saying, by Monday, we've now done, so sorry, let me back up even further. Friday, we're analyzing our crime scenes, collecting evidence, and potentially doing a blood type lab. Then on Tuesday, which would be day 2 for us, we are now trying to analyze our skull, and we're also checking fibers to see what type of animal it is. So a comparative lab using microscopes that will be provided to the schools and trying to figure out what certain things are. Then finally, once we get to Tuesday, which would be day 3 for us, that's when we're trying to finalize everything. So there's a chromatography lab, which pretty much has the students trying to test out the pen that's used on the letter that will be written. So for example, this is just an example note that's provided in the kit. And the students will have to try and use chromatography to test different types of markers and pens that will also be provided in the kit to see which type of pen or pencil or crayon, whatever, was used to write this note that will be provided at the scene. So once again, the manual provides vivid instructions on how to actually conduct the chromatography, and everything you should need should already be in your bucket kits. So that's when we'll last now look at, so sorry, let me slow down. So now Tuesday, we've done chromatography, and we pretty much have all our evidence, but now we want to actually find out who are the suspects. So in the back of this manual, it provides 5 suspects who are claiming to know what animal it is or whatever, or own the animal. And so the students on Tuesday will now actually get to look at the 5 people who are claiming the animal and research these people to see who might have done the crime. So for example, we can see here in number 1, Helena Talologist is holding a snake and a bearded dragon. Therefore, she is a herpetologist. And so using these 5, I think it's women in the back of the manual, we're gonna have the students analyze them and determine who might have been the one to actually commit the crime. So you can have a discussion and other things like that, but pretty much, I'm trying to think of how to summarize this. Pretty much, you're going to try and do different analyses in different labs on each of the days, but by Tuesday, you want the students to now start narrowing down who might have actually committed the crime. So I'm going to skim down because the rest of the manual is pretty much all the provided worksheets and the answer keys. So as we can see here, we have like our case book that the students can use. And I'm sorry if it's hard to see, which, I mean, if you come into the document, you'll be able to run through it. But these are all the answer keys and documents that will be provided to students to help them do this stuff. So even you can see here for the blood typing lab, we have the worksheets that will be provided to the students. So all of it is here. I just wanted to make sure we could run through it and have an understanding of what these labs actually expect from us. So once again, I'll stop and see if there are any questions. Okay, no problem.
Question.
All right, what's up, Vincent?
So we would set up the crime scene the first day, and then we just leave it there for the duration, or are we done with it after the first day?
So you'll be done with it after the first day, because once students have collected evidence, that's when we'll now go back to our classrooms and conduct all the analyses. So for example, if you're at a high school and they're doing the skull one, you'll pick up the skull, or sorry, you'll leave the skull there initially, have them do their little crime scene analysis, and then maybe like at the end of the day, just clean it up, pack it up, because you'll probably, you'll test things off of them, but at most it's going to be like, okay, the skull has a blood sample on it. We're going to test the blood or see what type of blood it is. or you'll have like a shoe print there. And so you got to figure out what type of shoe it is. Like, I don't think you need the crime scene just to be out and about for the duration of the crime scene, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Any other questions? Well, all right. If there are no other questions, I don't want to take up too much time because I appreciate you all just taking the time out. Thanks, Shay. I saw that. But yeah, I guess I'll just use the last few minutes just to say that the cookie one, which would be for the younger students, that one is a very similar format to the skull one. It's just that this one tries to talk about more cross curriculum activities. So they'll show things like, oh, this will be for science, and this will be for math, and this will be for that. I recommend that we focus only on the science things. So once again, stuff that we can actually analyze and do in class with just the kids. So just with a quick rundown before we end the call. So as we can see, here's an outline, like I was saying. For day one with the cookie crime scene, you set up the scene on the Friday, and then you have the students collect evidence and look at the scene. But then day two will also add to our Friday, which would be fingerprinting or trying to just sketch the scene. So, or let me back up. We'll only stick to the sections that are science. So science, we'll just do analysis of crime scene. Day two, we only do this science. So we'll just mix day one and day two of the manual to be our Friday. And then day three, we see that science. We're trying to figure out who's lipstick, which is chromatography. So that could be on Monday. And then day four, science, we're looking at the dirt or the soil that's left at the scene. So that would be our Monday as well, or Tuesday. And then day five is DNA analysis. So those are the things I would recommend focusing on and using to do actual analyses and experiments during the course of the 3 days. So hopefully that makes sense, but if there are any questions, please feel free to reach out. So that's all I had, Delano.
All right. Yeah, I think we're good. The high schools, if you want to, you can do the strawberry extraction tomorrow and start Friday. We'll just bring over the Ziplocs, because we have Ziplocs. I'm not sure how we missed those, but we'll make sure to bring those over for you. And then you should have cups left from Cups Without Computer. Do you not have any cups left from that project? Because we get you some more cups, but based upon the volume of cups we brought over, we didn't add cups because we brought a bunch of cups. Okay, so we'll bring more. So because we're bringing microscopes over tomorrow for everybody. So we'll just make sure to add those for those who need them. So everybody will be getting a delivery tomorrow, even if it's just microscopes, because most of the schools already have those kits except for Sailor and TAF. We'll make sure we'll post your prizes, because there was a list of prizes. We'll work through that and we'll get that up. We'll try to get that up tonight as well, because we definitely will have prizes. And then we're working on the end of the session event in that last week, like a pizza party or something that they'll get. So we're trying to figure all that out and see what the district will let us do. Curtis, can you hang on with Ebica and myself just to make sure, because your schedule is a little crazy. So we just want to make sure we have a schedule that works for Sailor as well, because I know they allow us to improvise from what they gave us. So yeah, let's figure this out real quick and make sure, see what you have left. If you have anything left, just make sure we figure out the schedule. Otherwise, if no one has any questions, thank you. If we went fast, we did record this. I missed the first few minutes, so it's important for those who missed the first couple of minutes. If you have the tubs, if you have both of them, the lost cookies will be for the younger students, which is K through 6, and then the case of the lost skull will be for the high schools. And again, everyone should already have theirs except for TAF and Sailor, and you'll get yours tomorrow. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Oh, and don't forget pictures. The district is telling us they want pictures. So please don't forget to send us pictures and a video or two if you get them. Thanks, Shay. All right, Curtis. Yeah. So we've been dropping stuff off, and What do you have any project kits left from anything we've dropped off? Because I'm getting lost because your schedule is so crazy. I've been dropping
Yeah.
stuff. Do you have anything left to do tomorrow, or do you need these kits tomorrow? Because Friday you don't do anything STEM.
Yeah, we need something to do tomorrow.
Erica, do you think they should do this, or should we get them like the tower project, or they should just start this?
You think it would be wise to start it, and then because Friday's not a STEM day, so
Yeah, So
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you haven't done the tower challenge?
We have not done the tower challenge. We did the edible cars and the balloon cars, and then we were supposed to come back today and finish it, but a lot of them lost it or threw them away. Or they just wasn't interested in it.
All right.
But we made it work though. We made it fun. We did it again though. So we made it. We got through today like real well.
Okay. So
but we need to do it for tomorrow.
All right, Eb, did we post instructions for the tower challenge?
Yep, I'm staring it right now on my screen. So
I'll still drop that off for you. I'll bring it to the school because I'm getting a haircut. What time? Erica, you'll be good. So I'll be leaving there about 10:40. So I'll be at your school about 11:15.
11:15?
Yeah, you just need index cards.
Okay.
For that project. And then the kits will be there, and you can just start with Monday. And you probably can just go Monday through like Wednesday or so with that. So
okay. Because we usually do like 2 main activities. So we can do this one, the index card, and is there another one you got in mind?
Yep. So alongside the index card tower challenge, where they're just using index cards to make the tallest tower they can, we also have the paper airplane challenge. So people are designing and building their own airplanes to see who can make an airplane that can loop the most.
Oh, we had that's funny. It's crazy. We a little bit off schedule a little bit because we had just did that like for the second activity today.
Okay. So then
I got another. I'll email it to you.
Okay. Yeah, just with that age group, they get a little they get a little sidetracked sometimes. So we just gotta keep going with something. We'll keep switching off, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Everything else going well so far?
Yeah, everything else is going real good.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So like I said, I'll probably just bring your stuff straight to the school because I'll just come straight from the barbershop, head to the school and drop that off. So I might even beat you there. I don't know.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just let me know. I'll usually be there around 11:30 anyway. So.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So you'll be good. So So you'll be good. You can use that. That'll carry you into next week, and then we'll figure out if we need to add some other stuff. But we do have some other projects.
Okay, cool. That's all right.
You'll have that at least to start off the week.
Okay.
All right.
How old is?
What'd you say?
How old is little man?
He'll be 2 on August 1st.
Oh wow.
Can you say hi?
What they call it, terrible too? He ain't terrible though. That's what they call it though.
Yeah, he's getting there.
Well, okay, yeah, that sounds like a plan though.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right.
Yep.
All right. See you downstairs.
Thanks, Ed.
Yep.